Okay, well, welcome everybody to Catholic Owned Live. Today we have an extra special Friday show for you. So excited. Catholic Owned Live, if it's your first time joining us, is a show where we talk honestly about faith, work, business, and what it really takes to build the new Catholic economy. I'm your host, Brooke Joyner, and today I have a special guest with me, Hugh Mackin, the owner of VMR Communications. Hugh, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Brooke. It's a pleasure.
So, Hugh is the owner of VMR Communications and is based in Ave Maria, Florida, which I know is popular with our audience. And I'll just give a little overview. VMR does some incredible work with Catholic digital advertising services. They know digital advertising like the back of their iPad and provide a full gamut of digital advertising services. Everything from developing strategy to executing in a performance optimized manner. They also help you choose the best channels for spreading your message to your ideal audience, and they do it all within your budget. So I'm excited to speak with you and get the word out even more about VMR.
Yeah, thank you, Brooke. It's so appreciate it.
So tell us, I guess in your own words, how um, how or who VMR really is best poised to help.
Yes, that's a great question, Brooke. So first off, I should clarify that VMR. You mentioned that we're based here in Ave Maria. We do have a global team, but our base of operations, as it were, is right here in Ave Maria. And which, by the way, for those of your listeners, you mentioned that they're fans of Ave. Please, like for those of you who have not come here, just reach out to me on LinkedIn and be happy to show you around. We just love it here in Ave, and it's just an awesome place to have a Catholic business. But VMR is short actually for Ave Maria. So it's the consonant form of Ave Maria. And it was I founded it back in technically 2008. And really our mission from day one has really been to help Catholics to make use of new media in the new evangelization. And so we do that in a variety of different ways. But that really has been at the heart of our mission. And really the spirit of VMR, our culture, I would say, is thoroughly Catholic. So like we pray at the start of our client calls, our internal team calls, and we really ask for the intercession of Our Lady and her intercession and blessing upon all of our work. And I actually oftentimes find it helpful, especially with our technical work, because I just find that a lot of those hurdles can be overcome, believe it or not. I'm sure you've had the same experience, where we pray and ask for the intercession of St. Carlo Acutis, for example, and amazing things happen. So we're thoroughly Catholic in spirit, and we work with a wide variety of organizations. Everyone from Catholic educational organizations to book publishers, film companies, media companies, and everyone in between. One of our customers, who we actually represented at the Catholic Economy Forum, which I absolutely loved, by the way, is the Leo House. So we had a booth there. We were representing the Leo House of New York City there. So they're one of our longtime clients. If you're ever in New York City, just thumbs up for the Leo House. It's an amazing Catholic-run hotel in the heart of Manhattan. And so that's a little bit about VMR. But really, as I said, our heart is really with those whose hearts are with the church.
Well, I'd love to pick up on one of the pull on one of the threads that you had there, which is new media for the new evangelization. I love that mission. I'm part of the TEPEC Leadership Institute this year. Just yesterday, one of the session was about media. And we read a document by Pope Paul VI, and I don't have it in front of me, but it was about the media
Hmm.
and, the role we as the laity have in, producing the media, consuming media,
Yes.
and, as he seems to do in so many of his encyclicals and documents, almost prophesied in a sense what will happen if we don't guard against, the misuse or the overuse. So it was just such a really cool document. So I guess when you say new media, how do you guys view that? And what is the framing that you guys reference with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really our understanding of the importance of the media and the value of the media in many ways is taken from the church teaching and what the church teaches about the importance of the role of the laity along with the clergy. So that idea that, as you said, like we as a laity do have an important role in evangelization, and one of the key ways in which to evangelize is through the media. And so when we refer to new media, it's we're mainly referring to non-print, non-offline, so digital media, so everything from social media to just really anything digital. So AI, I think, would also fall under the general realm of new media. So it's definitely in an emerging area, especially for the church, as you know. And so we work with organizations also on AI and discerning how best to use it and not use it in a way that is consistent with our Catholic values and faith. I think our approach to media in general, Brooke, is very Catholic in the sense of we take a very holistic approach to media and marketing, and one where we're really looking at how can we advise a client, for example, maybe it's a large Catholic nonprofit and they're wanting to advertise on various media channels, helping them to think intentionally about where they're advertising. So not just thinking about, gee, like I want to reach this audience and I really don't care about where I reach them, but actually thinking about like where you're reaching them, and that ought to matter, in part because those ad dollars that you're spending, that your organization is spending, are going to whatever media outlets your ads are running on. And so to be like aware of that and to be intentional about where where your money is actually being invested. And in some cases, organizations will advertise through media outlets that are not exactly aligned with their values, take Facebook, for example, but they'll do so, after kind of, thinking through the pros and the cons of doing so. But, those are, really important areas of discernment for Catholic organizations of all sizes, but especially those that are wanting to be more mature in their, in their media strategy.
There's so much wisdom there. And I did look up while you were speaking, it was a Second Vatican Council decree called Inter Mirifica. That's in case anyone wants to check it out. It is Pope Paul VI's document on the media. And it was so neat because he said that he basically foretold social media in 1963. In just, I think, paragraph 2 of the document, it was that, it is like proper that these forms of media be called social communication because of their implications on society. I mean, it was so brilliant. And
Right.
so
Yes.
much, yeah, and so much of what you're saying aligns so beautifully with that document.
Yeah, no, it's important. There's another document that the council, the Pontifical Council on Social Communications wrote, I want to say maybe about 20 years ago, and they talked about the role of advertising in supporting a healthy media ecosystem, or supporting an unhealthy media ecosystem, and the importance of advertisers being more intentional, being more aware of the potential for positive, for good that can come out of advertising that is truthful, that is not promoting products that are unnecessary, frivolous, and that supports in the process of advertising media whose values are aligned with those of our faith, as opposed to like misaligned with those of our faith. So again, it's a very, to me, that's a very Catholic approach in the sense of a very like integrated approach. So in other words, and we've been talking about it internally, my team and I, this idea of like, you know, what does Catholic marketing even mean? Does that mean we're just because we are a Catholic marketing company, a Catholic marketing agency. So does that mean we just market Catholic stuff, Catholic products? And the answer is absolutely not, no. But what it means is that we do marketing in the way that a Catholic would do marketing, which is to say we hopefully like really creatively, really effectively, intelligently. So we're making use of tons of different data points, doing doing extensive analysis of every facet of the marketing that we're doing to ensure that we're making prudent use of our clients' marketing investments, right? So we're doing all the things that you would hope that any good marketing company would do. I think one thing that maybe makes us a little bit different is that, yeah, we do really take into account the media piece of it. Whereas I think a lot of modern digital marketing is very media agnostic, and it's very audience centric. That is to say, I hear a lot, we're trying to reach this audience, and essentially what I hear is, in effect, we don't care where our ads run. We just want to reach our audience. And that's not really, in my view, a Catholic way of marketing. It's also not as effective. It's not nearly as effective as when you are both targeting the right audience and reaching them in a Catholic aligned way, and in places that, with media outlets that are really aligned with your organization and with your organization's values. I think it's one of the reasons that podcast sponsorships and the like have really taken off, because you're both reaching the right audience and you're reaching them by way of a channel that is actually aligned with your values and the values of the audience that's of the audience of the podcast, or if it's another like a YouTube channel, what have you. So those sorts of partnerships can be very effective. And I'm not sure if we lost Brooke there on the live stream, but for those of you who are still listening, I'll just mention our website. It's vmrcommunications.com. And my email for anyone who would want to reach out is hugh@vmrcommunications.com. And always, please feel free to email me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to do a call, especially if you've got an apostolate and you're looking for that you say it's a new apostolate and you're just looking for ideas, or just looking to better understand how to develop an effective marketing plan. Definitely happy to assist you with that. And I guess one thing I'll say too, with regard to media partnerships, and one of the reasons that we've partnered up with with Brooke and Catholic Owned is we really like to partner up with organizations that are mission aligned with us. And as I've said to Brooke previously, I've been just so incredibly impressed, Brooke. So if your ears were burning, they're burning hopefully in a good way, because I was just been so incredibly impressed with your work, Brooke, and Catholic Owned. I was honestly skeptical about the platform that we were using for the Catholic Economy Forum, because it was all online, and I had 3 of our team members who joined the Catholic Economy Forum, and all of us were just blown away, just so incredibly impressed with not just the platform, but Brooke, your positive vision for Catholic Owned and for Catholics making use of new media. So it's definitely a real pleasure and honor to work with Catholic Owned and to be a part of the Catholic Economy Forum. And I applaud you for the work that you guys are doing, because I think it's awesome.
Thank you. I had a little technical issue arise, so I apologize. I'm joining as a guest on the stream.
No worries. I was going to say, I mean, the other thing I'll say too, just briefly, is on the tech front, if I may, is just the comment that I think for a lot of our clients, Brooke, we are their technical go-to experts. So a lot of times when you think of like a marketing agency, you think about creative, and we certainly do a lot of creative. And again, also helping clients like Catholic organizations, determine, okay, what's our AI strategy? So like we work with, Catholic colleges and universities, for example, and that's really important, right? Because a lot of them are teaching about issues that are, germane to the topic of AI. And so their marketing strategy needs to be consistent with their educational philosophy, right? So there can't really be any lack of any contradiction there. But that's just all to say that we are marketing IT experts. So we have a very, very robust and deep team of experts in all different areas of marketing, everything from analytics to web design, to data integrations, just anything you can imagine. On the marketing front, we oftentimes will do more advanced analytics than a lot of our secular counterparts, in part because we're working with organizations that really, like, they have limited budgets and they need to make sure that they're using them wisely. And so we do sort of essentially 2 different types of analytics. One is where we're measuring the impact of the marketing we do for our own benefit, to help us analyze how we can improve things in the future. But the other type of analytics that we do is analytics that is real time and that helps to automatically improve the performance of the marketing campaigns that we are running. So most of the platforms that we use, when we pass the performance data to them in real time, which we have the technical expertise to do, their algorithms are able to ingest that data and optimize the campaign variables in a way that helps our clients to get better results. So yeah, that's an important part of what we do to, again, help clients just get better results for the money that they spend. They generally like the idea of low cost, high yield. So that's what we try to focus on.
Right. Well, and I wanted to go a little deeper on, which I think was just obviously for a reason it got kicked off, the idea of Catholic marketing and running a Catholic agency as you do. I think there's so much value in just revisiting and thinking about how advertising and marketing fits in with a Catholic economy, because you guys really have dialed that in. And I just say that because I think in modern day, sometimes we can lose sight of what, how does media work? What
Right,
is the
right.
business
Yep, yep.
behind media, right?
Right. Yes,
And
exactly. Yeah.
so, that ultimately media gets, earns an income and fuels their businesses through advertising dollars. And
Yes.
so, as business owners who are spending advertising dollars, we all have to advertise. We have to market if we want to
Yes.
grow.
Yes.
Um, that we, as business owners, have a unique responsibility, similar to how in Caritas in Veritate, the consumer has a comparable responsibility with the business owner for ethical business. I
Yeah.
think the same is true for business owners buying, advertising, and supporting the media. Would you mind
Yes.
sharing a little more about your philosophy, your approach
I,
on so unique?
I would. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to preface this by saying that, Brooke, that the Catholic philosophy that we embrace is one that actually our secular counterparts can benefit by, in a sense as well. In the sense that the philosophy that we embrace is one that we embrace because it's not only one that is aligned with our faith, it also happens to be an approach that we have found to be far more effective, actually, than a non-Catholic approach. So similar to the idea of St. John Newman, in talking about, we have a lot of, higher ed clients, and he talked about the idea of a university. And he said that you really don't have a university in the best, truest sense of the word if it's not Catholic. And so I think you could say the same thing about Catholic marketing, that you don't have marketing in the best sense, in the most effective sense, if it's not Catholic, in the sense that if it's not holistic and fully integrated. It's actually a lot more effective that way. And so there doesn't need to be a trade-off of, oh yeah, I need to be ethical about this, and so I guess I won't really get the results won't be as good. No, that's not what we're saying here. Your results will actually be better by being, for example, less selfish about our media spend, and thinking about where we're advertising, not thinking as much about, ironically, I need results right now. You get better results. So by thinking about, what, we're going to invest in this media outlet, we're going to advertise here, and we're not going to push people to buy our product right away. You'll actually get more people to buy your product right away. Like, paradoxically, that's actually what happens. And on the flip side, the people that are really eager, like buy right now, they get terrible results. And so over and over and over again, like we have seen, and when I say we, as I said, I mean, we have a global team. Collectively, I would say probably 75 years total in digital marketing experience, in terms of working, like, all those on my team, in a variety of areas, and over and over and over again, we have seen that Catholic approach, which is to say, like, we're taking into account all the different parties that are involved in our marketing and advertising. So, which obviously in advertising, one of the key parties would obviously be the readers. So like, if you're advertising on a website, those readers are a key part of your advertising investment, right? So are you creating a good impression? Are you actually adding value, like, for them with your advertising, or are you annoying them? Because if you're annoying them, your ads are not going to be as effective. But if you're actually contributing to their reading experience in a positive way, which good advertising can actually do that, then your marketing and advertising will just get exponentially better results. And I mean, I'm not telling you or a lot of people listening anything that they don't know. I mean, a lot of us have experienced, like, really bad and annoying advertising, and others have experienced, advertising that's really compelling. I mean, obviously, a lot of people who watch the Super Bowl watch it not for the Super Bowl, but just for the ads themselves, because they're really creatively done. Some of them, not so much, but but that idea of, I think, it's something to kind of be aware of is, again, that idea of like audience targeting. So the big tech platforms, Google, Meta, et cetera, I mean, God love them. I mean, I think there's a lot of good that they contribute to the world. There's unfortunately people use those platforms in a negative way as well. But one of the things that they have is lots of data, lots of different audience segments. And so their value proposition to their customers is audience targeting. And so it's important to keep that in mind, that audience targeting when it comes to marketing, absolutely, it's a key part of, should be a key part of marketing strategy. But thinking through the media strategy as well is just as important. So reaching the right audience in the right place at the right time with the right message, with a product or service that actually meets a felt need. That's all the business of marketing. And that's what we advise clients on. A lot of times, clients think too that marketing's all about promotion and just targeting people. Actually, one of the most important parts of marketing is establishing product market fit and adjusting the actual packaging of what you're offering to better meet the felt needs of the marketplace. So good marketing actually understands what the actual problems are in the marketplace and provides products and services that are aligned to meet those needs. I mean, so many times, we have clients that like they've decided, yep, they've got a great product, it meets the market need, and now they want to promote it, and they haven't established product market fit yet. And so, so a lot of times, we have to tell them, look, there may not actually be a market for what it is that you're offering. Have you established that yet? And interestingly, one of the things you can actually use your marketing campaigns for is doing exactly that. It's just testing different ideas, right? Just putting different ideas out there and seeing which ones stick, and then investing in marketing to actually, bring those ideas to life, right? So, I mean, you may have like a particular project, you're not sure if people are going to buy into it or not. And so a good strategy there is, do some marketing, have a wait list, and say, like, if we get enough people signing up, we're going to launch this thing. And if we don't, we won't. Right. So, you haven't invested anything in it, and you're, so that's a key part of marketing is just doing that. And then obviously the promotional aspect can come after that.
Well, I appreciate you, giving that overview back to basics, because we all need to hear it. I'm sure you tell your clients that all the time, and for a good reason, that going back to the basics really matters. I do think we all hear so many marketing messages every day. And as business owners, so many of them are how to promote your business. So just getting back to basics is honestly really helpful, I think, for the majority of business owners. So
yes. And one last thing I'll say on that, Brooke, in terms of back to basics is, think about offline advertising and the basics there. Like if you were to I use this analogy a lot. If you were to do a postcard campaign and you were opening a new gym in town, imagine if you did this postcard campaign and or maybe there's a new hotel. In Ave Maria, by the way, we do not have a hotel. So for anyone who's listening and you come to Ave, just email me and we'll set you up somehow. But we do not have a hotel yet. But let's just say there was a hotel opening and there was a postcard campaign that was done, or maybe the hotel is not the best example, but let's say there's a gym opening and there's a postcard campaign, and you get all these people to the door of the gym, but like nobody signs up, and the gym owner calls me up and says, "Hey, Hugh, like what happened? I mean, like we got no signups. Like no one became a member." And so I can tell you, like in the digital world, my first question in that case is going to be, well, I mean, did you have anyone like opening the door when people got there? Did you have one staffing the front desk, like who was able to answer questions well? How did the place look when they got there? And so I bring that up because the analogy there on the digital side is, how many times have I seen that exact same thing play out, to where what they're doing is the equivalent of a great postcard campaign, reaching exactly the right place, getting lots of people to the door of their website, and then it falls apart. Why? because they don't have a landing page. They have a website, and maybe it's reasonably well done. You know, it's looks decent, but they don't have a landing page. And so it's just way too much information on the website. And it kind of overwhelms people, and they go to the front of the door and they just leave. They never even enter in because there's just nothing there that that makes sense to them. So with a lot of clients, we will work with them on their landing page strategy and helping them to set up basically a funnel so that people who are visiting their website will not necessarily be offered an immediate purchase offer, but will maybe be offered something for free, become a lead, and then be cultivated eventually into a customer. So we work with clients a lot on basically creating that, what I'll refer to as a customer journey. The word funnel feels a little bit overly transactional, even though I think it can be appropriate. It can be a helpful word picture, but that idea of the customer journey, right? And not proposing marriage on the first date, so setting up that process.
Yeah, it's so helpful and important, and as Catholics, for us to remember, all of these things, and remember that it is a person. That audience is a group of people on the
Yeah,
other
true.
side, and how we would want to be spoken to or advertised to, or something that would be important to us. And I think that's all part of the process. And so thank you for going in a little bit on some of those details of how you guys really set yourselves apart as a Catholic marketing agency, but also sharing that wisdom with all the Catholic businesses.
Yes, yeah. No, thank you, Brooke. And like I said, I mean, I admire the work that you guys are doing. I think you do a great job in terms of how you do your own marketing and really talking consistently about your values, your mission. It's something that so many people overlook. And I mean, look at how far you guys have come. It's worked. That approach really works, and it uplifts people in the process. So again, thank you so much for doing all that you're doing with Catholic Owned and the Catholic Economy Forum. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, and I know you guys were a booth sponsor. I know you did kind of touch on it earlier. So thank you so much for being a booth sponsor at the Catholic Economy Forum. It was so great to see you and your team there. And like I said, I know you kind of touched on it earlier. And before we wrap up, I know we're kind of over time. We've had so much fun talking about all these great topics. I love to end all interviews with, why does a Catholic economy matter now more than ever before? And I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it matters now more than ever before because good organizations need money to do the great work that they do. And so money really is a key part of fulfilling our mission as Catholics, right? So the whole topic of money in the Bible, I think money is mentioned hundreds of times in the Bible. It's very, very important as a theological idea. Obviously, love of money is the root of all evil, but the appropriate use of it is very, very relevant for the living out of our Catholic faith. And so the idea of being very intentional about how we spend our money is fully aligned with our Catholic faith. And it's very much, it's a key part of really living out our Catholic faith, and not just doing it kind of on the margins, like, oh, I'll give back over here, but doing it as part of our day to day, 365 days of the year.
So well said. Thank you so much, Hugh. Thank you for your support and for being part of Catholic Owned, for being part of the Catholic Economy Forum. For our guests, be sure to visit vmrcommunications.com. Reach out to Hugh. I know you're also on LinkedIn as well, so folks can get in touch with you there. and take a look. And I'm sure he would be happy to help with your digital marketing and overall marketing strategy. Thank you all so much for joining us today for Catholic Owned Live, the show where we talk honestly about faith, work, vocation, and what it really takes to build the new Catholic economy. I'll be back here on Monday at noon Central Time for our Monday monologue. It's a deep dive on a subject. I'm kind of thinking I might talk about the documents we were discussing earlier, Hugh.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm going to work on that. But I hope you'll join me for the Monday show. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.